Hey, what's up guys? It's Ludicrous Speed and welcome to another Kerbal Space Program video. Today we will be leaving the confines of the Kerban System and moving outwards into interplanetary space. Our first stop on this journey, of course, will be Duna, the KSP equivalent of Mars. We might do another journey back to Duna to visit its only moon, Ike, or maybe in the future, I don't know. Because Ike is basically just the Mun, but around Duna. There's nothing really special to it, it's just a dead rock. Let me explain what we're going to be doing here. This time, it's not going to be a direct ascent vehicle. If you don't know what a direct ascent vehicle is, please check out my other videos of the Mun and Minmus mission. Those I use direct ascent. This will be an Apollo style where we have a mothership and a lander attached to it, but because the mothership is going to be so big, because we need it to get to Duna and back, this will be two launches, kind of like building a space station. So here we are launching the mothership because it's the biggest of the two. I like to work my way from the biggest down to the smallest parts, just so I can get like the heavy lifting out of the way, quick and easy. This took like 4 attempts to get into orbit because I kept on having to use more and more firepower because the payload was just so heavy. Ditching those 4 boosters and now ditching the first stage and releasing that gigantic fairing here in just a second once the first stage gets far enough away. Starting the second stage, throttling up and releasing that massive fairing, revealing the mothership that is capable of getting to Duna and back. To get to Duna and then back, you're gonna need about, without landing, you're gonna need about 4,000 meters per second of delta V for new players. Just saying, this is for new players. If you've already been to Duna, then you don't need to know that. You can see I've kind of put some scaffolding there at the bottom between the second stage and the lander, just to keep it stable because it kept wanting to wobble back and forth in the fairing, blowing up the rocket. And now we are using a considerably smaller vessel to bring up the lander. The lander you will see right there. I've stuck it to a kind of like a probe, sort of. It's the same design I used to build the space station with. If you haven't seen my space station video, please check that out. And there we are docking it. The probe, or not the probe, the lander you'll see is kind of small compared, or it's kind of small, but it looks kind of like the direct ascent vehicles. Mainly because Duna has a thin atmosphere, but nevertheless an atmosphere. And you can see there I was setting up the maneuver node. And here I'm using effect of the Obert effect, which is where you kind of just let your use that velocity to get kind of part way into your maneuver, but then you swing around back down to your lowest point in the orbit just to get them using the Earth's gravity or Kerban's gravity to swing you around. It's more fuel efficient, then that way you're not far away from Kerban, just trying to pump your way to wherever you're going to. And there we have set up an encounter. Here we are getting into orbit, and as you can see, those tanks on the side, they are detachable. They are just 4 little external fuel tanks I use. And once, of course, they've detached, that makes the craft lighter. Now we're just circularizing. To get to Duna, you're going to want, I don't remember the angle, but it's called an encounter angle, or a encounter opportunity. It's where the planets are in the correct position, so you can just swing around and meet up with it. And here we're just deorbiting our lander after transferring our crew. Slowing down as much as possible. I stuck that heat shield on, not to protect it. You can fly into Duna real fast without a heat shield because its atmosphere is so thin, but I used it just to add to the drag because again it's so thin. And we have all these parachutes to slow us down very fast. We're almost tipping the scales in our G-force meter right there on the right side of the nav ball at the bottom of your screen. Jettisoning that heat shield. And I don't mean to brag at all, but I mean I managed to totally nail this landing on the first try without a hitch at all, without a bit of a problem. I mean, you know, just because I'm that good at this game and stuff. So there's nothing really else to say there except for that, you know. You know, first try landings are amazing and all, but this was totally not a failure that happened beforehand. No, never mind. I failed a bunch of times. Okay, so now we're just gonna be planting the flag. Setting it right there. Oh, I don't think I told you guys the name of the craft. I named the mothership the Zeus and the lander the Athena, because, you know, Greek mythology, and I thought it sounded cool. I like to name my ships and send them off for good luck. Now we're just retracting those solar panels. Even though Mars has a thin gravity, solar panels have a big surface area, and I don't want them flying off, just in case. Just testing to see if the engines still turn, and they do, so we're just going to take off. Again, getting that gravity turn very, very early because of Duna's low gravity. Now we're just going to be ditching that first lander stage, flying away very fast because, of course, we are in an atmosphere. That drag slows it down quite a lot. And now docking with the mothership. And of course with Duna, it's not like the Mun where you can just fly back whenever you want to. You gotta wait for the same angle, the same opportunity angle you used to get to Duna. So you're gonna have to go into the tracking station and just reset that up. Of course, now getting docked. On this mission, I don't know if you've noticed, but we did not bring Jeb, Bill, and Bob. Why did I say Ball? Bob. Because, they're not expendable. They're the top guys. I'm just bringing some expendable guys because if they die, no one's gonna care. So now we're just performing our escape burn. Escape burn from Duna is not very expensive because of course, the low gravity. And here we are just ditching that stage and releasing the craft. I kind of had a lot of fuel left, so I kind of just did a lot of burns at Kerban, just to get into orbit and lower our orbit for a safe re-entry. I mean, you can just brute force it into Kerban's atmosphere, but it's really risky. You got to hit it at the right mark so your ship doesn't blow up. And here we have the successful deployment of the chutes and splashdown. This was on a single try. That's not a lie. This was definitely on the first try. So that's how you get to Duna and back. I hope I explained it as best as I could, and if you're a new player, hopefully this helps out. Next mission, we will be going to Moho, the game's equivalent of Mercury. Very hard to get to, very low gravity, just like Duna, but the closest planet to the sun, as our astronaut just dips in there. So that's gonna do it for me today. I'll see you guys later in the next video.